Have you ever stopped to wonder how a real-world problem, something that a business owner is struggling with every single day, actually gets turned into a piece of software that works? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to see exactly how you take the chaos of a busy factory floor and transform it into a clean, structured digital blueprint.
So, where do we start? Well, every great piece of software, every single one, starts by solving a real problem for a real person. And our story today kicks off with a business owner, someone who makes and sells boxes for pretty much everything. Pizzas, cupcakes, you name it. Business is good, but they've hit a wall. There's a challenge that's really holding them back.
And there it is. This is the actual unfiltered request. This is the seed for the whole project. And notice it's not full of technical jargon. There are even a few typos. It's just a direct, honest plea from a business owner who is desperate to get organized. This, right here, is our starting line. Now just try to imagine running a business when these are the questions flying around your head all day long. Without a proper system, every single day is just this frantic scramble for answers. This is the pain point. This is the chaos that our software absolutely has to solve. You can kind of feel the stress just reading these, right?
Okay, so how do we actually bring order to all of that chaos? Because you can't just hand that one-sentence email to a developer and say, go build it. You need a bridge. You need a plan.
And this is the critical question, isn't it? How do you close that massive gap between an idea and a finished product? Well, the answer is all about translation. You have to translate the business need into a language that a technical team can understand and, more importantly, execute on perfectly.
And meet the hero of our story, the Business Requirements Document, or BRD for short. This document is basically the official translator. It takes the what and the why from the business owner and lays out a super detailed plan for the how.
This is truly the best way to think about it. You wouldn't build a house without a detailed blueprint, would you? Of course not. And you should never, ever build software without a BRD. It's what makes sure everyone, the owner, the developer, the designer, is working from the exact same plan. It prevents all those costly mistakes and confusion later on.
All right, so with our shiny new blueprint in hand, let's take a look at what we're actually going to build. A system this complex isn't built as one giant thing. It's broken down into smaller, much more manageable pieces.
You can think of the whole system as having like 5 interconnected engines. First up, inventory management. That's what tracks every single sheet of cardboard. Then you've got product management, which defines what we're actually selling, like a 12-inch pizza box. The order management system, or OMS, that's the heart of the sales side. Then, production tracking gives you that live, real-time view of what's happening on the factory floor. And finally, data analysis and reporting. That's what tells the owner what's selling, what's not, and where the money's being made. Each part has its own job, but they all have to talk to each other to make it work. But hang on. Before we can build any of those cool modules, we have to figure out what information the system needs to remember. This is where we design the database. You can think of it like setting up the digital filing cabinets for the whole business. We need a cabinet for users, one for customers, one for materials, and so on.
And what you're looking at here, this is how a developer sees those filing cabinets. It might look like a bunch of boxes and lines, but this diagram, it's called a schema, is the absolute foundation. It shows how everything connects. See, a customer is linked to an order, and an order is linked to a product. It's the skeleton of the whole system.
Now, a factory has lots of different jobs, right? Well, the software does too. We can't have the guy in the warehouse looking at sensitive financial reports, and we definitely don't want the sales team changing production schedules. So this table defines exactly who can do what. It's all about making sure the workflow is smooth, efficient, and of course, secure.
Okay, enough of the abstract stuff. Let's make this real. Let's follow a single order, say for 5,000 pizza boxes, and watch it travel all the way from a customer's request to a finished product ready to ship. So these are the actual physical steps happening out there on the factory floor. First, the big sheets of cardboard get cut. Then they go to printing for the logo. Then they get glued together, and finally they're bundled up. Our software's job is to create a digital twin of this process, so the production manager can just click a button to update the status at every single stage. And this is where it gets really smart. This flowchart shows that the software isn't just a simple checklist. It's actually making decisions. At every step, it's asking questions based on the rules we gave it. Is there enough cardboard? If no, it sends an alert. Is the order finished? If yes, it can automatically generate an invoice. This flowchart is basically the brain of the whole operation.
So, we have the blueprint, we understand the workflow. Now what? How does a developer actually start writing code? Well, they don't just build the whole thing at once. That would be a disaster. No, they use a roadmap.
And this is how it actually gets built. It's a phased approach, and it's incredibly clever. You start with the absolute foundation, logging in, managing customers, tracking inventory. Once that's solid, you build the ability to take orders. Then you track them. And only at the very end do you build the fancy reports. This way, the project gets built in logical, testable chunks, which makes everything way more manageable.
And here it is. This is the payoff. After all that planning and all that building, what does the business owner get? A single screen, a command center. From here, they can see live orders, get low stock alerts, and check sales graphs. All that chaos from the beginning? Gone. Replaced by clarity, and most importantly, control.
It looks like this. It's this incredible transformation from a one-sentence cry for help into a structured, detailed, and completely actionable plan that leaves absolutely nothing to chance. It's the difference between just hoping for a solution and actually engineering one.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you use an app on your phone, whatever it is, remember this journey, because behind that slick, simple interface, there was almost certainly a document just like the one we saw today. A quiet but incredibly powerful blueprint that was the true first step in turning a simple idea into a reality we can all use.